So we've spoken about all sorts of different aspects of feedback. But the one thing we haven't spoken about yet is, why is giving feedback so difficult? Why is it difficult for us, especially to colleagues, to give feedback? Well, there are three key main reasons, and I'm going to share these three with you. The first is, and I'm going to paint a scenario for you. If I was going on a road trip, if we were in a car together on a road trip from Cape Town to Bloemfontein, pretty direct route, but suddenly along the way, we end up in East London, totally off track. I would have wanted to know way before I ended up in East London that I was on the wrong road. At some point early in the game, I want to know so I can make a change. Now, why is that so different in real life? That's feedback, saying you're on the wrong path, make a change, and that's how you're going to get to your destination. Well, the reality is, in real life, when we have to give feedback, we're always waiting for the right moment. We're always waiting for the right mood. We're always waiting for the right time. And there's never a good time. The only time that is good is the sooner the better. Because otherwise, your journey goes on and on and on, and someone keeps doing something incorrect and may end up in East London and not in Bloemfontein where they want to be. So that's the first aspect. The second aspect is this wonderful thing called social media, and the impact it's had on so many people, particularly our millennials. Now, the problem with social media, and there are lots of positives, is it gives instant feedback. But it mainly gives positive feedback. On Facebook, you get liked. On Twitter, you get liked. On all these things, you've got all these friends. It's a fake environment. Yet kids today think, and youngsters today think, that everything's always positive. They can't handle face-to-face feedback. They can't handle criticism. And one of the other reasons for that is parents are inclined to jump in, and you'll know from the kids in your school, more and more parents jump in at the slightest issue. They don't allow their children to make mistakes. They don't allow their children to become confident and resilient. And this is a big problem, because when kids aren't confident and resilient, they turn into adults that aren't confident and resilient, and therefore can't take the feedback, can't take criticism. So we need to understand and be aware of the issues of the millennials and the social networks and the social technology that gets in the way of giving feedback. And then the third, probably the most important aspect, is about emotions. And I'm going to show you a quick video clip, and I want you to have a look at it very carefully. You'll probably recognize it. It's a very famous video clip, and it's from the World Cup in 2006, the Soccer World Cup in Berlin.
Now, Materazzi did what? This is going to give us a bit more of a clue. He said something. He certainly said something. Now what happens? He's saying some more. Well, the pictures tell the story. He leaves football in disgrace. And he leaves his team in big trouble. France down to 10 men. And the showpiece of the world game has an unsavoury moment here that will make the headlines beyond the result, I feel.
So what have we just witnessed there? We've witnessed someone who has not been able to control his emotions. Think about it. Final of the World Cup 2006, probably one of the greatest events watched on TV worldwide. Italy versus France, 1-1. Zidane's last match, last appearance for his team, yet he decides to headbutt an opponent, get a red card, and he is sent off. In fact, he leaves his team, as the commentator said, in serious trouble, because it was a 1-1 penalty shootout, and he is their best shooter. Now again, I ask you, why did he do this? Well, the simple reason is he can't control his emotions. He has a very low emotional intelligence. Now, you hear emotional intelligence spoken about often, but it's a real thing. And there's a separate course on this, so please, after this course, if you're interested, go ahead and do the emotional intelligence course. But the key thing to understand is we need to be able to control our emotions. Now, here are 4 tips on how to control our emotions. Because one of the reasons why giving feedback is so difficult is we don't know what emotions are waiting for us. So the first is to being able to recognize your emotions. Recognize how you're feeling. Are you angry? Are you sad? Are you disappointed? Are you resentful? Recognize what your emotions are, and then understand them. Ask yourself, why am I feeling like this? And by asking yourself that question, sometimes it helps you gain control of your emotions. Then you need to manage them. You need to manage your emotions to make sure your reaction is appropriate. And then the 4th is use your emotions. Sometimes you can use your emotions to improve a situation. Sometimes anger can give you drive. Sometimes sadness can bring motivation to improve. So use your emotions to make the improvements and changes. So feedback's very difficult when it comes to emotions because, first of all, the person sitting opposite you that you might be giving feedback to, you don't know how they're going to react. And particularly if they're not able to do these 4 things, then you've got a problem. In the same way, when you're receiving feedback, you don't always know what you're going to hear and you don't know how you're going to react to them. So by going through these 4 steps in managing your emotions sometimes helps. So if we look at those 3 aspects as to why giving feedback is so difficult, the first is waiting for the right moment. Make sure that you don't wait too long. Make sure that you get the right situation at the right time. The social environment we find ourselves in, the millennials, and then of course the whole resistance to change and lack of resilience. And then, of course, the emotional intelligence. So those 3 aspects are barriers when it comes to giving feedback.